for 7 steps to unlock the hidden potential within you, Jim Rohn inspired. Unlocking the hidden power within you. Every single person carries within them a reservoir of untapped power, a depth of potential that often lies dormant beneath layers of fear, doubt, distraction, and routine. It's not that we don't have what it takes. It's that most people never pause long enough, dig deep enough, or believe firmly enough to awaken what's already inside them. Jim Rohn, one of the most respected voices in personal development, once said, "The greatest value in life is not what you get, but what you become." And with that one sentence, he points to the real journey, not the one where we chase external achievements, but the one where we evolve internally into the person capable of creating lasting change. Too often, we measure success by what we accumulate: money, titles, possessions. But the real measure of success is who you become in the process. Are you stronger today than you were yesterday? Are you wiser, more disciplined, more aligned with your purpose? Are you becoming someone you're truly proud of? The truth is, success on the outside will always be limited if it's not rooted in strength on the inside. Confidence, clarity, and courage don't appear out of nowhere. They are cultivated. The problem isn't lack of opportunity. The real issue is a lack of activation. Most people are simply unaware of just how powerful they could become if they consistently invested in themselves. The question is not, do I have potential? The question is, am I willing to do what it takes to unleash it? If you feel like you've been playing small, settling for less, or running in circles, know this: you are not broken. You are simply untapped. And that can change, starting today. This guide, inspired by the timeless teachings of Jim Rohn, is not just motivational. It's practical. You're going to walk through 7 powerful, no-fluff steps that can help you start unlocking the greatness within you. You'll learn how to shift your mindset from victim to creator, why clarity of vision is more powerful than motivation, how to build self-discipline even when you lack willpower, the secret to upgrading your environment without cutting everyone off, why consistent learning is the fuel of transformation, how small, simple actions turn into massive change, and why daily reflection will multiply your growth. Each step is designed to move you from inspiration to action, because reading this is only the beginning. Doing something with it is where real change begins. You don't need more time. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait until things are perfect. What you do need is a decision to stop living beneath your potential. Because the most painful regret isn't failure. It's knowing you were capable of so much more and did nothing. So if you're ready to break through your own limits, not someday, but today, let's begin. The next 7 steps could be the start of a life that's not just more successful, but more meaningful. Your potential is not out of reach. It's already inside you, waiting to be unlocked. Let's wake it up. Step 1. Take full responsibility for your life. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction. One of the most powerful, life-changing decisions you will ever make is this: to take full responsibility for your life. This is where all transformation begins, not with more motivation, not with new goals, not with external changes, but with a deep internal shift, a refusal to blame, a refusal to make excuses, and a bold commitment to say, my life is my responsibility, no one else's. The trap of blame. It's easy to blame. It's comfortable to point the finger. I didn't have supportive parents. The economy is bad. No one gave me a chance. My boss doesn't recognize my value. I was born into the wrong circumstances. You know what all of these have in common? They remove you from the equation. They tell the story that someone else, your past, your environment, your relationships, your pain, is in control. And when you believe that story, you hand over your power. Jim Rohn was clear. You can't change your life until you change your mindset. And one of the most toxic mindsets in the world is the belief that your life is being controlled by forces outside of you. The truth? Those things may influence you, but they do not define you. The moment you take full responsibility, you stop being a victim. You start becoming the architect. You are the author of your story. Think of your life like a book. Maybe the first few chapters weren't written by you. Maybe they were written by pain, trauma, or other people's decisions. But starting now, you hold the pen. Responsibility means saying, from this page forward, I choose how the story unfolds. That doesn't mean pretending life has been easy. That doesn't mean ignoring injustice or hardship. It simply means choosing to respond instead of react, choosing to move forward with intention instead of waiting for someone to save you. Responsibility is not a burden, it's liberation. Because if it's your fault, you can fix it. And if it's within your power, you can change it. The myth of overnight change. Many people hesitate to take responsibility because they think it means they need to fix everything all at once. But that's not what Jim Rohn meant. You cannot change your destination overnight. That's the truth. You can't wake up tomorrow and be 10 years ahead. You can't undo years of neglect, bad habits, or wrong choices in one swoop. But what you can do, starting today, is change your direction. And direction is everything. If a plane takes off from New York and is just 1 degree off course, it'll end up hundreds of miles away from its intended destination. Life works the same way. You don't need to leap 1,000 steps. You just need to turn. Pivot. Begin walking in the direction of the person you want to become. Radical ownership. Taking responsibility isn't just about the big things. It's about the daily, it's a moment-to-moment choices. You're late for work? Own it. You missed a deadline? Own it. You're unhappy in your job? Own that too. Your relationships feel shallow or broken? Own your part. You've been procrastinating on your goals? Own it fully. Radical ownership means you stop using words like they, them, or it as excuses, and instead use I, me, and my. Instead of, they didn't support me, say, I didn't communicate what I needed. It's not fair, and so say, it's my job to create better outcomes. They made me angry, say, I chose to respond in anger. It might sting at first, but soon you'll realize it's actually empowering, because once you own it, you can change it. Rewriting the blame list. Here's an action step that could transform your mindset forever. Action tip. Take 15 minutes. Grab a pen. Write down 10 things you've been blaming on other people, outside circumstances, or your past. For example, 1. I blame my parents for not teaching me about money. 2. I blame my partner for my lack of emotional support. 3. I blame my job for my unhappiness. 4. I blame school for not preparing me for real life. 5. I blame the market for not succeeding in business. 6. I blame my friends for distracting me. 7. I blame my health condition for holding me back. 8. I blame time. I never have enough. 9. I blame my fear for stopping me. 10. I blame society for its expectations. Now, for each one, rewrite it from a place of personal responsibility. Example transformations. My parents didn't teach me about money becomes it's my responsibility now to learn how money works and manage it wisely. My partner doesn't support me becomes I must learn to express my needs clearly and also support myself emotionally. I don't have enough time becomes I'm responsible for how I manage and prioritize my time. This isn't about guilt. It's about ownership. You can't always control what happened, but you always control what happens next. The power of choice. Responsibility reminds you that you always have a choice. You can choose your response. You can choose your mindset. You can choose to begin again, even if you failed 1,000 times before. You may not choose your starting point, but you always choose your next step. When you stop waiting for circumstances to change and decide to be the change, your entire world shifts. Jim Rohn famously said, "Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for fewer challenges. Wish for more wisdom." That's responsibility in action. Don't wait for the world to make things better. Build the capacity to thrive within it. Responsibility leads to power. The most successful people in business, relationships, and personal growth all have one thing in common. They own their lives. They don't whine. They don't blame. They don't shrink. They rise. Responsibility is the starting line of that rise. When you take ownership of your choices, your actions, your attitude, your habits, your future, you become unstoppable. Because nothing is more powerful than a person who's fully awake to their own agency. Final thoughts. Taking full responsibility isn't a one-time decision. It's a lifestyle. Every day, you'll be tempted to slip back into blame, to complain, to wait for someone else to fix things. But each time you choose responsibility, you grow stronger, you sharpen your character, You step further into your power, and you prove day by day that the best version of you isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. So here's the challenge. Today, stop blaming. Start building. Take back the pen. Write a new chapter. Not someday. Now. Because the direction of your life can change in a moment. And that moment can be this one. Step 2. Clarify your vision. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. Jim Rohn. A person without vision is like a ship without a compass, floating, drifting, and reacting to every wave that comes. No matter how strong the engine, without a destination, it will eventually go in circles or crash into the rocks. Vision is what gives your life direction. It's not just about where you're going, but who you're becoming along the way. Lost without a vision. Many people are exhausted, not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too little of what truly matters. They're working hard, but without clarity. They're chasing goals that were handed to them by society, family, or fear, not by their highest self. When you don't have a clear vision for your life, you're vulnerable to distraction, manipulation, and regret. You might achieve success by the world's standards, yet feel deeply empty inside. Jim Rohn said it best. If you don't design your own life, someone else will do it for you. And you likely won't like the result. Vision isn't just a dream. It's a design. It's intentional living. It's the difference between existing and leading your life. The power of knowing who you want to become. When you clarify your vision, everything changes. You stop wasting energy on things that don't align. You make faster, more confident decisions. You feel inspired even on tough days because you know what you're working toward. You stop comparing yourself because you're running your own race. Your vision doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. You don't need every detail mapped out. You just need enough clarity to start moving forward with purpose. Remember, direction is more important than speed. You don't need to know how everything will happen. You just need to know why it matters and where you want to go. Designing a life by choice, not chance. So how do you begin to clarify your vision? Start by asking better questions. Who do I want to become in the next 5 years? What kind of energy do I want to bring into every room I enter? What kind of relationships do I want to nurture? What type of work would I be proud of doing? What does my healthiest, strongest, most joyful self look like? What values do I want to be known for? How do I want to contribute to the world around me? Don't think about what's realistic. Think about what's aligned. Don't write the script your past expects of you. Write the one your future deserves. You weren't born to follow someone else's path. You were born to create your own. The fear that keeps you foggy. One reason many people avoid defining their vision is fear. What if I fail? What if I change my mind later? What if I'm not good enough? What if people don't support me? But here's the truth. Not having a vision doesn't protect you from failure. It guarantees it. Not the dramatic kind of failure, but the subtle one. The failure to live your truth. The failure to rise into the life that had your name on it. Your vision may evolve. That's okay. But the worst mistake isn't changing your vision. It's never having one in the first place. Vision gives your life a why. And when your why is strong, the how starts to reveal itself. Start with the end in mind. Imagine it's 5 years from now. You're waking up and living your ideal day. The version of you that's grown mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. That version didn't appear by accident. They were created by design. Action tip. Take 30 minutes of quiet, uninterrupted time. Write a detailed paragraph describing the best version of yourself 5 years from today. Not a fantasy, but a vision rooted in your highest truth. Describe what your mornings feel like, how you carry yourself, what kind of work you do and why it matters, what your relationships are like, how you handle challenges, what habits, mindsets, and emotions define your daily life. Write it in the present tense as if it's already happening. For example, I wake up feeling rested and energized. My body is strong and healthy. I spend my mornings journaling, meditating, and exercising. I run a coaching business that empowers people to overcome fear and take action. I work with integrity and clarity. I speak confidently and lead others with compassion. My relationships are deep and fulfilling. I feel peace in my heart and purpose in my soul. Then read it every day. Let it pull you forward when motivation fades. Let it remind you who you're becoming. Because you're not just setting goals, you're casting a vision. And vision is what separates the driven from the drifting. Small steps, big vision. You don't need to make giant leaps overnight. The best way to honor your vision is to take small, aligned steps every single day. If your vision includes being healthy, take the stairs today. If your vision includes being calm, breathe intentionally. If your vision includes writing a book, write one paragraph today. If your vision includes being wealthy, track your spending today. The future is built in moments. Not someday, but this day. Every action, thought, and decision is either moving you closer to your vision or further away from it. When you have vision, you have power. With vision, you become less reactive and more proactive. You stop living life like a pinball, bouncing from one thing to another. You wake up each day with a sense of meaning. That doesn't mean every day will be perfect, but it means you'll never wander too far off track because you know what you stand for. Jim Rohn didn't say life would hand you a map. He said you have to design it. And the beauty of design is that it reflects your values, your desires, and your unique calling. You don't need to wait for permission. You need to give yourself intention. Final thoughts. Clarity is magnetic. When you clarify your vision, you become a force. Not just someone hoping for life to be better, but someone building it on purpose. Without vision, you settle. With vision, you rise. You stop asking, what should I do with my life? And start declaring, here's who I'm becoming and here's the life I'm building. So stop drifting. Stop waiting for the fog to clear. Vision is not found. It is forged. Write your vision. Read it daily. Build your life around it. Let it be your compass when life gets loud. Because the best version of you isn't found by accident. It's found by clarity, by courage, and by choice. Your vision is waiting. Now's the time to see it clearly and walk boldly toward it. Step 3. Cultivate self-discipline. Discipline is the foundation upon which all success is built. Jim Rohn. If you've ever set a goal and then struggled to follow through, if you've ever felt motivated for a few days and then fallen back into old habits, if you've ever known what to do, but just couldn't get yourself to do it, then this step is for you. Because there is one trait that separates dreamers from doers, starters from finishers, and wishful thinking from actual achievement. That trait is self-discipline. The bridge between goals and achievement. You can have the best ideas, the biggest dreams, the most detailed plans, but without discipline, they stay locked in your mind, visions that never become reality. Jim Rohn said it plainly, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Want to write a book? Want to lose weight? Want to build wealth? Want to change your life? There's one bridge that will take you there. And it's not talent. It's not luck. It's not even motivation. It's discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it, especially when you don't feel like doing it. Why motivation is overrated. Most people rely on motivation to take action, but motivation is a feeling, and feelings are fleeting. You feel motivated when things are exciting, when the weather is good, when you're inspired by a podcast or quote. But what about when you're tired? What about when you're discouraged? What about when it's raining and no one is watching and your emotions are low? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I care about what I committed to. Discipline doesn't ask, do I want to? It simply says, it's time. And that shift from being emotion-driven to commitment-driven is where lives change. The myth of willpower. Here's something that surprises people. You don't need superhuman willpower to be disciplined. You just need systems and standards that remove decision fatigue. The most disciplined people aren't the ones who fight temptation every day. They're the ones who build a structure that supports their success. For example, a disciplined person doesn't try to remember to exercise. They schedule it at the same time every morning. A disciplined person doesn't hope they'll eat clean. They prep their meals in advance. A disciplined person doesn't wait to feel like writing. They sit down at 6 a.m. and write, no matter what. Discipline isn't about willpower. It's about creating an environment where the right actions become automatic. The cost of indiscipline. Discipline might seem hard in the moment, but do you know what's harder? Regret, wasted potential, a life lived below your capacity, the feeling of I could've, but I didn't. Jim Rohn said, we must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. You either pay the price now or you pay it later. But either way, there's a cost. The pain of waking up early is momentary. The pain of staying stuck for years, that cuts deep. Discipline is the kindest thing you can do for your future self. Start small, stay consistent. One of the biggest mistakes people make is trying to change everything at once. They start 5 new habits, overhaul their routine, and then burn out after 3 days. The key is to start small, really small. Action tip: choose one small habit that aligns with the life you want. Examples: wake up 30 minutes earlier, write in a journal every night, drink more water, do 10 minutes of stretching, read 5 pages of a book, meditate for 5 minutes. Now commit to doing it every day for 21 days, no matter what, rain or shine, busy or free, motivated or not. Why 21 days? Because repetition builds identity. When you consistently act a certain way, you begin to believe this is who I am now. You're not just doing the habit, you're becoming the kind of person who does it. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. Miss a day? Get back on track. Tempted to skip? Do it anyway, even if it's just 50%. Every time you show up, you build self-respect. Every time you follow through, you build internal strength. Discipline is self-respect in action. Most people think of discipline as punishment, but it's the opposite. Discipline is how you prove to yourself that you matter. It's how you tell your future self, I've got your back. Think about it. When you make promises to others and keep them, you earn their trust. When you make promises to yourself and break them, you lose self-trust. But when you follow through on what you said you'd do, even when it's hard, you earn your own respect. That's what discipline really is, an act of self-leadership. It's what allows you to trust yourself deeply, and from that place, anything becomes possible. Identity over outcome. Here's the real magic. When you practice discipline consistently, it stops being about results and starts being about identity. Instead of saying, I want to lose 10 pounds, you say, I'm the kind of person who takes care of my body. Instead of saying, I want to earn more money, you say, I'm someone who manages time and energy with focus. Discipline isn't something you use to reach your goals. It's something that transforms who you are in the process. The outer success becomes inevitable because the inner shift already happened. Final thoughts. You will not always feel like it. You will not always see results quickly. But you must keep showing up. That's discipline. It's not flashy. It's not always fun, but it's the foundation. Jim Rohn called it the magic ingredient of success. Why? Because it turns dreams into plans, and plans into progress, and progress into greatness. So start now. Choose your habit. Make the commitment. Don't wait for the perfect mood. Create the right momentum. Because every time you act with discipline, you step closer to the life you were meant to live. And one day, you'll look back and realize it wasn't luck. It wasn't a breakthrough. It was the daily decision to do what mattered, long after the feeling passed. Discipline won't always feel good in the moment, but it will make you feel proud for a lifetime. Start small, stay consistent, and watch yourself become unstoppable. Step 4, upgrade your circle. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, Jim Rohn. Look around you. Not just at your surroundings, but at your people. Who do you talk to the most? Who are the voices you hear daily? Whose energy, mindset, and habits are rubbing off on you? Because whether you realize it or not, your circle is shaping your identity. Your standards, your beliefs, your goals, your behavior, they are all influenced by the people closest to you. And as Jim Rohn famously said, you are the average of those 5. Your circle can be a source of fuel or a weight that holds you back. Your circle can challenge you to grow or normalize staying small. Your circle can lift you up or slowly drain the life out of your vision. So, if you're serious about unlocking your full potential, this step is non-negotiable. You must upgrade your circle. Environment is more powerful than willpower. You can have all the discipline in the world. You can be crystal clear about your vision. But if you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt you, distract you, or drain your energy, it's like trying to run with a parachute tied to your back. Environment beats willpower every time. Why? Because human beings are wired for connection. We mirror the behaviors and attitudes of those around us. That means if your five closest people procrastinate, you will likely do the same. Complain, you'll find yourself complaining. Make excuses, you'll start lowering your standards too. But the good news is, this principle works in the positive direction as well. If you surround yourself with driven, kind, focused, and growth-oriented people, you rise. You don't even have to try. Their energy, discipline, and standards pull you upward. Who's sitting at your table? Imagine your life is a table. Around that table are 5 chairs, and those chairs are not empty. They're already occupied by the people you interact with most. Maybe they're friends, maybe they're coworkers, maybe they're family, maybe even virtual influences like YouTubers, podcasts, or online groups. Now, take an honest look at who's sitting there. Ask yourself, do they lift me or limit me? Do they speak life or speak fear? Do they inspire action or encourage excuses? Do they support my growth or feel threatened by it? This isn't about judging others. It's about protecting your energy, your mindset, and your dreams. You can't afford to keep a negative environment if you want a positive life. The power of proximity. There's a reason world-class athletes train with other elite athletes. There's a reason CEOs join mastermind groups. There's a reason leaders surround themselves with other strong leaders. Proximity matters. You grow into the expectations of your environment. When you spend time with people who expect excellence, who speak possibility, who hold you accountable, you begin to rise. You raise your self-image. You upgrade your language. You take bolder action. It's not magic, it's psychology. That's why upgrading your circle isn't selfish, it's strategic. Because if you keep shrinking to fit into your current circle, you'll never rise to meet your future. Make the shift, the audit exercise. Action tip. Right now, take out a sheet of paper or open a notes app. Create 2 columns. Left column, people I need to spend less time with. Think of 5 individuals who may be kind but keep you stuck. People who gossip, complain, blame, distract you from growth, or bring a negative energy to your goals. Right column, people I want to spend more time with or find. Write 5 people who inspire you, encourage your best self, or represent who you want to become. These may include a mentor, a growth-minded friend, someone you admire from afar, a professional group or community, a coach or accountability partner. You don't need to cut ties with everyone immediately, but you do need to shift your energy. Spend less time with people who drain you and more time with people who grow you. Remember, it's not about who's good or bad, it's about alignment. Your future depends on the quality of your connections. Finding new circles. You might be thinking, but I don't know anyone like that. That's okay. Growth sometimes begins with distance, not replacement. You may need to create space before the right people arrive. In the meantime, join online communities centered around your interests or goals. Attend local workshops or seminars. Follow and interact with people who live the way you aspire to. Start a conversation after a workout class, a networking event, or a book club. Be open. Be intentional. Remember, your next mentor or friend may be one bold introduction away. And don't forget, you also need to become the person someone else wants in their circle. Raise your own standards. Become a growth partner for others. The right people are also searching for you, but they're looking for someone consistent, positive, and committed. Be that person. What happens when you upgrade? When you surround yourself with people who live at a higher frequency, you naturally begin speaking with more confidence. You challenge your own excuses faster. You find new opportunities showing up unexpectedly. You feel seen, supported, and stretched. You become more you, the best version. Suddenly, what once felt impossible becomes normal. Discipline becomes contagious. Dreams stop sounding crazy. They start sounding like next steps. Your circle becomes your catalyst. Final thoughts. You don't rise in isolation. You rise in community. You rise when you choose who you let influence your inner world. As Jim Rohn wisely said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So take that seriously. Choose to upgrade your circle, not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. Not because you think you're better than anyone, but because you refuse to settle for less than you're capable of. The people in your life will either pull you backward, keep you where you are, or launch you forward. Choose the launch. Choose the people who see your light and remind you to shine. Because when you upgrade your circle, you don't just change your connections, you change your future. Step 5, learn relentlessly. Formal education will make you a living. Self-education will make you a fortune. Jim Rohn. In a world that is constantly changing, the most valuable skill is not what you know. It's your ability to keep learning. The moment you stop learning, you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start shrinking. You lose your edge. You lose your clarity. You fall behind, not just in your work, but in your thinking. But when you commit to learning relentlessly, you stay sharp. You stay adaptable. You stay ahead. Because learning isn't just for students, it's for anyone who wants to become more. The learner's edge. There is a noticeable energy in people who are always learning. They ask better questions. They think deeper. They connect dots others don't even see. Their perspective is broader. Their confidence isn't fake. It's built on understanding. Jim Rohn understood this. He knew that traditional education could give you a job, but self-education could change your entire life. Think about it. The books you read shape your beliefs. The people you learn from expand your mindset. The questions you reflect on refine your character. The skills you acquire build your value. Learning is how you evolve, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. It's how you go from where you are to where you want to be. If you want to unlock your potential, you must commit to being a lifelong student. Don't just consume, grow. We live in an age of information overload. Content is everywhere. Books, podcasts, courses, YouTube, social media. But information alone doesn't lead to transformation. What makes the difference is intentional learning. Intentional learning means you choose what you learn based on your goals. You reflect on how it applies to your life. You take notes and revisit them. You apply what you learn, even in small ways. You share it with others to deepen your understanding. Learning isn't just about feeding your mind. It's about sharpening your perspective and turning knowledge into action. The question is not, how much do you know? It's, how much are you using? Learn from everything. Jim Rohn believed in learning not just from books, but from life. In fact, some of the greatest lessons aren't found in classrooms or courses. They're found in conversations with wise people, failures that humble you, feedback that challenges you, experiences that stretch you, moments that break you open. Everything is a teacher if you're paying attention. The successful people you admire, they aren't just lucky. They've learned their way to where they are. They've read the books, asked the questions, paid for the coaching, made the mistakes, and kept growing. So must you. Learning relentlessly means becoming a collector of wisdom, a student of life, and an architect of your own evolution. Your daily 30-minute learning practice. Action tip. Set aside just 30 minutes a day for intentional learning. This is not scrolling through random content. This is focused, deliberate growth. Here's how you can structure it. 1. Read 10 to 15 pages of a quality book. Choose books that challenge you to think bigger, feel deeper, or act wiser in areas like mindset, leadership, communication, personal finance, spirituality, or creativity. 2. Listen to a podcast or audiobook. Pick voices that stretch your thinking, not just entertain you. During your commute, walk, or while cooking, turn passive time into learning time. 3. Write 3 to 5 key takeaways in a notebook or notes app. This activates deeper retention. Ask, what did I learn? Why does it matter? How can I apply it today? 4. Reflect and apply. Learning is incomplete without application. Even one small insight, applied consistently, can change your results dramatically. Do this for 30 minutes a day, and you'll gain the equivalent of over 180 hours of personal development in 1 year. That's a massive edge in a distracted world. Create a learning environment. If you want to be a lifelong learner, make it easy to learn. Keep books visible and within reach. Subscribe to growth-focused newsletters. Curate your social media to follow creators who educate, not just entertain. Join groups, masterminds, or communities where people share insights. Have regular conversations with people smarter or wiser than you. Surround yourself with ideas and people that elevate your thinking. You don't rise in isolation. You rise through exposure. And remember, learning doesn't mean agreeing with everything you read or hear. It means staying open, curious, and flexible. That's the mark of a strong mind, not rigid, but responsive. The ROI of relentless learning. Learning pays off, not always immediately, but inevitably. It improves your decision making. It enhances your communication. It builds your creativity. It increases your earning potential. It boosts your confidence because you know what you're talking about. It prepares you for opportunities before they arrive. And most of all, it makes life rich, not just materially, but internally. When you learn, you grow. When you grow, you change. And when you change, everything around you starts to shift. Lifelong learning is a mindset. This isn't just a habit, it's an identity. Tell yourself, I am a student of life. I learn from everyone and everything. Every day, I get a little wiser, a little stronger. The moment you adopt this mindset, the world becomes your classroom. Challenges, lessons, criticism, feedback, books, mentors, failures, training grounds. No day is wasted if you learned something from it. Final thoughts. Jim Rohn's legacy wasn't just about motivation. It was about education. He understood that the mind is a muscle, and if you don't use it, you lose it. But when you train it daily, when you feed it ideas, challenge it with questions, expose it to greatness, your mind becomes your greatest asset. So stop saying, I don't have time to learn. You don't have time not to learn. 30 minutes a day. That's all it takes to keep growing. Because the future belongs not to those who know it all, but to those who are humble enough to keep learning, brave enough to keep questioning, and disciplined enough to keep showing up. Be that person. Learn relentlessly. Grow endlessly. Live fully. Step 6, take massive action. What is easy to do is also easy not to do. If clarity is the engine, if discipline is the fuel, if mindset is the map, then action is the movement that turns direction into destiny. Without action, all your dreams, all your vision, all your preparation amounts to nothing more than potential. You can read all the books. You can write the perfect plan. You can visualize success every morning. But unless you take consistent, massive action, nothing changes. Action is the great separator. It's where the talkers stop and the doers begin. It's where potential ends and progress starts. The illusion of ready. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect mood, the perfect opportunity, the perfect alignment of stars. But let's be honest, perfect conditions don't exist. You won't always feel confident. You won't have all the answers. You won't know exactly how it will turn out. That's okay. Action isn't about certainty. It's about courage. The courage to move even when it's messy, even when it's unclear, even when you're scared. Jim Rohn put it simply, what is easy to do is also easy not to do. Taking one small step today is easy, but so is postponing it. Choosing action is easy, but so is choosing comfort. Following through is simple, but so is making excuses. That's why success isn't complicated. It's just rarely chosen. The power of momentum. Here's the truth. You don't need massive steps. You need massive commitment and small, bold actions done daily. Because when you start moving, something incredible happens. Momentum. Momentum turns effort into energy. Action fuels more action. You feel more alive. You start seeing results. You get feedback. You adjust. You grow. It's hard to steer a parked car, but once the wheels are turning, you can go anywhere. If you wait to feel ready before you start, you'll never go far. But if you start moving, readiness will catch up with you. Don't overthink. Just move. One of the biggest enemies of action is overthinking. You want to launch the business, but you keep researching. You want to write the book, but you keep outlining. You want to start the habit, but you keep planning. You want to make the change, but you keep second guessing. Perfectionism hides behind productivity, but deep down, it's often fear in disguise. Here's what most people never realize. Clarity comes from action, not thought. You don't need to know everything to take the first step. You just need to do the next right thing. Execution beats intention. Every time. Action builds confidence. You might think, I'll take action when I feel confident. But the truth is flipped. Confidence doesn't create action. Action creates confidence. Every time you do the thing, even imperfectly, you send your brain a message. I can do this. I keep promises to myself. I'm becoming someone who follows through. Your self-trust grows. Your belief grows. Your identity expands. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start becoming someone who executes. You don't wait for life to happen. You go out and shape it. Turn vision into movement. If you've been following each step so far, from responsibility to vision to discipline and learning, you've likely gained clarity about where you want to go. Now comes the leap. Now comes execution. That vision you wrote about? It means nothing unless you act on it. That dream you think about? It won't chase you back. That future you desire? It's waiting, but only for the version of you who shows up now. So ask yourself. Action tip. What are 3 simple actions you can take in the next 24 hours to move closer to your goal? Write them down. Make them small, clear, and doable. Here are some examples. Send an email to someone you've been hesitating to contact. Sign up for a course or workshop related to your growth. Wake up 30 minutes earlier and use it to journal or learn. Walk around the block if you've been sedentary. Record the first minute of your podcast, even if it's awkward. Publish the first blog post, even if it's not perfect. Unfollow 10 accounts that drain your energy. Then, do them. Not later. Not when you feel ready. Do them today, within 24 hours. That's where transformation begins. Make action a habit, not a heroic act. Massive action isn't always about huge leaps. It's about doing something meaningful every day. A phone call, a workout, a tough conversation, a new email, a small risk. Most people wait for breakthroughs, but success isn't about breakthroughs. It's about follow-throughs. It's not about doing everything at once. It's about doing something every day, relentlessly, consistently, intentionally. Action is the gateway to change. Want to change your finances? Act. Want to heal a relationship? Act. Want to grow in confidence, leadership, faith, focus, courage? Act. Action is the only proof of commitment. Words are cheap. Vision boards are easy. But action, that's where the real work begins. And that's where results are born. Remember, life doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you do. Burn the excuses. Excuses sound reasonable. That's why they're dangerous. I'm too busy. I don't know enough. I'm not ready. I don't have support. What if I fail? But here's the truth. There will never be a perfect time. There will always be a reason to wait. There will always be risk. But what's riskier? Taking the leap or living the rest of your life wondering what could have been? Jim Rohn didn't say, take cautious, measured, safe steps only when everything aligns. He said, take action now, because nothing changes until you do something different. Final thoughts. Every dream you have requires action. Every version of your best self is built on decisions, not wishes. Every breakthrough begins with a first step, so take it, not tomorrow. Today, write the page, make the call, sign up for the course, go for the run, launch the idea, speak the truth, take the leap. Don't wait for the moment to feel right. Then make this moment right by taking the first move. Because life is not waiting for you. It's unfolding for those who move toward it. You don't need more time. You don't need more talent. You don't need permission. You need motion. Massive, focused, imperfect action, repeated daily, will do more for your life than a decade of planning. So get out of your head. Get into action. Because the future you want is waiting on the other side of what you do next. Step 7. Reflect and refine daily. Days are expensive. When you spend a day, you have one less day to spend. So make sure you spend each one wisely. Jim Rohn. We often think that progress is about doing more. But real growth isn't just found in the doing. It's found in the reflecting. Yes, action is essential. But without reflection, action becomes motion without meaning. Reflection is how you turn experiences into wisdom. Refinement is how you turn good effort into great results. Without them, even massive effort can lead you down the wrong path, faster. This final step, reflect and refine daily, is what turns living into intentional living. Why most people don't grow. Even when they work hard, have you ever had a busy week where you got a lot done, yet didn't feel like you actually moved forward? That's because activity is not the same as progress. You can run in circles and still go nowhere. You can be busy doing the wrong things. You can repeat the same mistakes simply because you never pause to learn from them. Jim Rohn reminds us that each day is expensive. Once it's spent, you never get it back. That's why it's not enough to just get through your days. You must extract value from them. And how do you do that? You reflect, you refine, you adjust your aim, you sharpen your thinking, you upgrade your systems. You grow through awareness. The power of a daily review. Here's a truth that successful people know. Self-awareness is a superpower, and the simplest way to build that awareness is through daily reflection. Action tip: at the end of each day, ask yourself these 4 simple questions. 1. What did I do well today? 2. What could I improve? 3. What did I learn? 4. What will I do differently tomorrow? Write your answers. Keep a journal. It only takes 5 to 10 minutes, but the impact compounds over time. This habit creates clarity. It turns your days into feedback. It helps you course correct before small problems become big setbacks. Most people only reflect when life forces them to. But by making reflection a daily practice, you stay conscious, focused, and in control of your growth. Why reflection is your inner compass. Life is not static. You are constantly evolving. What worked last month may not work today. What served you in the past might now be limiting you. The habits that brought you here might not take you further. Daily reflection helps you stay aligned. It keeps your eyes open. It helps you ask, am I becoming the person I want to be? Are my actions matching my values? What is life trying to teach me today? This practice doesn't just improve performance, it deepens self-connection. And when you're connected to yourself, you make better decisions in business, relationships, and health. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small. Progress loves recognition. One of the most powerful parts of reflection is learning to celebrate your wins, even the tiny ones. Most of us are too hard on ourselves. We focus on what's missing, what we didn't do, where we failed. But that creates burnout, not momentum. When you pause and acknowledge, I showed up, I kept my word, I made a tough decision, I spoke truthfully, you reinforce positive behavior. You remind yourself, I'm moving forward. Don't wait for massive victories. Honor the daily wins. Success is not one giant leap. It's a series of small, intentional steps. Reflection helps you see them. Refine, don't shame. When you notice something you could have done better, don't attack yourself. Don't say, I failed again, I'm not disciplined enough. Why can't I get this right? Instead, approach yourself with curious compassion. Ask, what caused me to slip today? What was I feeling or avoiding? What support or system would help next time? That's refinement. Refinement says, I'm learning from this. It turns mistakes into data. It turns struggles into strategy. Self-judgment keeps you stuck. Self-inquiry moves you forward. Progress is built in the pause. We live in a world that glorifies hustle. But growth doesn't only happen when you go faster. It happens when you slow down and look inward. Just 5 to 10 minutes of reflection at night can lead to better sleep, sharper focus the next day, greater clarity on your purpose, deeper motivation, improved emotional regulation, stronger alignment with your goals. The most successful people don't just work. They evaluate their work. They don't just do, they measure what matters. Make this part of your rhythm, and your progress will no longer feel accidental. It will feel intentional. Build a 5-minute daily ritual. Try this simple end-of-day ritual. Keep it in a journal, app, or physical notebook. Step 1, name 3 wins. What did I do well today? What am I proud of? Where did I stay aligned with my values? Step 2, identify 1 lesson. What challenge did I face? What pattern did I notice? What would I do differently next time? Step 3, set 1 intention. What's one thing I'll focus on tomorrow? How can I make it easier to succeed? This simple practice will shift how you see your day and yourself. You'll no longer just go through the motions. You'll be living on purpose. Why this step matters most. This step is often skipped. People love to talk about goals, hustle, vision, motivation. But reflection? It sounds quiet, soft, unproductive. That's the mistake. Reflection isn't passive. It's the most powerful active learning tool you have. Every athlete watches game footage. Every great leader holds debriefs. Every master craftsman evaluates their work. So why not treat your life with the same respect? Your time is your most precious currency. Spend each day, but also study it, learn from it, refine it, honor it, because every day you reflect is a day you grow exponentially. Final thoughts. Growth doesn't come from blind repetition. It comes from conscious iteration. Don't just live the same day 10,000 times and call it a life. Live each day with awareness, with curiosity, with courage. Jim Rohn said it best. When you spend a day, you have one less day to spend. So spend it wisely, live it boldly, and at the end of it, take a moment to look back, to look within, and to adjust forward. Your future self will thank you, not just for what you did, but for what you learned. Because action without reflection burns energy. But action with reflection builds wisdom. And wisdom? That's where your full potential lives.